So I'm just going to jump into this one because I know where we're at right now, and if we're going to release this eventually soon. Did you guys finish WandaVision?
Yes. Today, actually.
Yes. Okay, good. I had to wait all weekend because my girlfriend was in the mountains, and I'm not allowed to watch it without her. And I was like, I just want to watch it. But we watched it yesterday or Sunday. So hell yeah. How do you guys feel about how it wrapped up? Anybody go first? I don't care. I'm just I want to talk about it.
I thought it was awesome. I loved the whole thing. There was definitely like some cheese elements, like Ralph Boner.
Yeah,
you know,
that was fantastic.
Biggest picture is giving me a Ralph Boner right now.
The drip is real in that boner. Boom. I loved the ship of Theseus verbal battle, like the intellectual battle between the Vision and Vision. That part was so intense. I was like, what is he doing? It's crazy.
It was kind of weird though. Like they're just sitting there like ready to destroy each other. And like, wait a second. Elaborate, please.
Yeah, I loved the conclusion they came to together. It was just like, oh, well, I guess we shouldn't fight.
Yeah, and it was like, I was watching a video about it, like afterwards. I think Screen Crush did a video of it, and every time they went to a fight scene with the Visions, they were playing "That's Double Vision" behind it. And I was like, oh man, that would have been awesome if they'd actually done that while they were fighting.
Well, that's a missed opportunity right there.
But I loved that aspect, and then they kind of turned Agatha into a teacher, but also kept her a villain. Like,
yeah.
I thought that was kind of an interesting twist on the comic book trait.
I think it seems like they kept her around for the sake that she'll be teaching her things as they go. She'll have to keep coming back to Agatha,
I wonder if she makes an appearance in the multiverse. Yeah.
Hope so.
Because the two end credit scenes show for the next two like major releases that they have with Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, and then Captain Marvel 2. So like I'm kind of stoked for that.
And the whole Secret Wars.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like I'm so stoked to see how they kind of play this in. And mind you, I was for the longest time a Marvel naysayer. I'm my shirt tells you I'm a diehard DC fan. Like I was like, oh, mutants are dumb. Fuck X-Men. Fuck Spider-Man's cool, but like the rest of them suck. And then as I've gotten more into it, I'm like, okay, yeah, there's cool storylines in this shit. I can't be mad.
Just because of stuff like that, I was like Ant-Man. Like I don't want to see Captain America, but then when I finally watched those movies, I was like, oh shit, this is badass.
Oh. Something I thought was interesting today is when I was watching the last few episodes, I had no idea who Agatha Harkness was. So I was like, okay, let's take a look. Let's find out. And then I started reading on it. And then I noticed that they said, I think it's like her kid or something like that, is this kid named Nicholas Scratchy or something like that.
Nicholas Scratch.
Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah. And like somehow he is in Sabrina the Teenage Witch, the TV show.
Oh, what?
Really?
Yeah, I guess he's a character on that show. And I was like, is this the same universe?
What?
So
maybe.
Is Sabrina the Teenage Witch Marvel?
I don't know, but I'm
gonna Google that right now.
Yeah, somebody look this up. I could be completely wrong, but as I was reading, I was like, wait a minute.
Because that's one of those things, like if that's a crazy weird tie-in, I'm gonna be mind blown.
It makes sense. They're all witches, right? Like it's kind of put it together.
Or just put a clever pick for a name, like that one person, like who really knows that Nicholas Scratcher?
Scratch.
Yeah. Scratch.
So
like I've never heard of him before.
Yeah.
So it's Archie Comics, which is part of Dark Circle Comics, which I believe is an offshoot of Marvel. I don't know.
Also-
I'm not so versed in the world of Archie as much as I used to be.
It's okay. We're not that old. So
Yeah.
Hey man, I had a Jughead beanie for a long time. You can judge. I don't care.
I noticed the rabbit was named Scratch or something like that.
Senior Scratchy.
Yeah, that's what it was. And I was like, is this kind of like a tie-in to the person that it's supposed to be? Or
So the rumor is that is actually Nicholas, and she has him as a rabbit as like a reference to magic, and that there was a symbol that she was a witch the entire time. Which is crazy. The other thing too is she kept referring to her husband Ralph all the time throughout the whole show, and it turns out that she had just taken over Ralph Boner's house. Like, so Ralph, the fake Pietro was like her husband that nobody saw.
Yeah, that's kind of messed up.
Yeah, which I thought was crazy. I
I
also
do wish for better in that situation right there.
Yeah, a little bit.
Shit, sorry. I do wish for better in that situation. Like Ralph Boner, like I was really hoping Ralph would be something bigger, you know, Mephisto or someone like that.
Yeah,
cool. But you know,
there was talk that the sword general was Mephisto, but it turns out he was just a douchebag.
sounds about right.
The sword general.
The guy that was trying to kill Wanda the entire time. I can never remember his name. Halpert or something. Not Halpert. That's The Office, but
Jim Halpert.
Jim Halpert.
Who's, you know, Agent Wu.
Oh, dude, he was great.
Yeah, he's one of my favorites.
Yeah.
When he gets out of the cuffs and he says flourish, I died. I lost it. I was crying.
I wonder if they're inevitably going to do a sword show like they had the Shield show, you know?
Maybe.
Could be cool, could suck. I'm not really sure. I watched Shield for a while and then like I feel like it just kind of fizzled out for me, but it was good for a minute there, you know?
Yeah. I did watch Agents of Shield too. It's all right. I liked it when they tied in like the MCU movies.
Yeah. I think that's what we kind of want it all to come back to. It's almost like, I hate to make this comparison, but it's like Star Wars. Like you kind of want to see it have something to do with the big stuff, you know, because they did a lot of little stuff and it was cool too. Who was the one cyborg character who looked like Eddie from Iron Maiden?
Deathstroke.
Is it Deathstroke? I think it is. But
in Agents of Shield.
Yeah, Agents of Shield.
Yeah, I think it was Deathstroke. I think that's another one of those characters that crosses both groups.
Yeah.
Because yeah. Let me
I wasn't sure how I liked his character so much in that. It was just kind of like I remember him being a little more brutal, and then in the show it was like, oh, okay, well, you're nice, I guess. I'm not really afraid.
Did you watch it before Ghost Rider came in?
I don't think so. Maybe I was out by the time that happened.
Oh man,
it was a pretty cool Ghost Rider. It wasn't Johnny Blaze. I forgot who it was, but he was pretty sick.
See, the funny thing is like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. was my girlfriend's realm, and she watched it till the end. She loved every minute of it. So I got into it a little late. I thought that was kind of a cool tie-in. They did a lot of time travel in the last part, talking about like the development of Hydra, and like if they prevented Hydra from happening, the Avengers would have never existed. So like there's all these tie-ins to how the one decision to destroy your villain means that heroes were never brought to Earth. It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's one of those things. Like, I think it's really interesting about how the MCU has grown now that they have all these different platforms, and with Disney jumping in board. You know, we have Loki coming out in June, Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and then the phase 4 of the films. You know, a lot of people are like, well, how do you top Endgame? WandaVision did a pretty damn good job of like continuing that vein and showing what's coming next.
Absolutely.
Like that was exactly what I was hoping for.
Yeah.
That series made me feel so much. Like those first 3 episodes, I remember being so mad with just like, what the fuck am I watching? Like MCU, really? What is this? Like I was pissed. Like my day was genuinely ruined. And then like that one episode where shit started to change, you're like, oh, all right, I'm in. I'm in. And just to make, I don't know, just like for a show to make me feel that much, I was like, that is awesome. Whatever you did, let's do it again. I'm in for the ride.
I love that it was like once they got into getting outside of the world that she was in and like started pointing to all the different aspects of what the show was and like bringing in some of the niche characters like Darcy, like Wu, and then having Monica Rambeau kind of be this bigger character, you know, because she was in the snap, like she didn't even know that she'd been gone for 5 years, and then she comes back, she becomes Photon, like going through, and now she's Photon, so like you're ready for that storyline in Captain Marvel 2, which will make the movie watchable, which is great.
Yeah.
But like it's one of those things like that I think MCU is doing better than DC in that sense. Like DC's television shows, I think were pretty solid for a while, and then they kind of like got a little weird. And I'm curious to see the Zack Snyder cut of Justice League in a couple weeks. But you know, I think the MCU is doing it right because they're tying in all of their different entities and trying everything to make it bigger. If it can get any bigger.
And going back to what you said too, like with when Monica Rambeau comes back from the snap, it was really cool to see like that like portrayal of it. Like we didn't see that. And it also like was like, shit, Endgame is real. Like, okay, we're still in this world. Like I love how like it just brought that movie into that show.
Yeah, I think that's really the difference there between say like Marvel and DC is that like, and don't get me wrong, there's been a lot of different I guess takes on it or like dimensions or whatever, or the multiverses and whatnot of things, but it's like at least right now for Marvel, it's like we're on one timeline where everything is like we're not just changing out characters for no reason and like all of a sudden making especially in what is it in Gotham, it's or not in Gotham, but is Gotham the one where they're all kids or something like that?
Yeah, so Gotham was actually designed to be more of like a tale of how the villainy started versus it's more focused on Jim Gordon than Bruce Wayne. And like there's an entire season called Rise of the Villains where it goes into the story of the Penguin and how the Riddler develops his like psychosis, and I actually really loved that show.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah,
it started off great.
Yeah, it kind of tailed off in the middle, like, but the end was really
perfect.
Oh yeah. But yeah, exactly, Mick. It like that. The universe is stable. Like they've done a great job of stabilizing the universe, and I think with the addition of Spider-Man, by the way, greatest troll ever for naming the third movie. Did you see all of that?
Yeah. I wasn't sure.
Yeah, it was a design troll by the studio, from what I've been gathering. So they had like Tom Holland released like Spider-Man Homewrecker. And then I think it was Jake Gyllenhaal released like Home on the Range, and there was a third one. I'll look them up and I'll put them up in the video. But like then they came out with the actual name, which was awesome. I think it's Far From Home. Far From Home is the real one. So
good way to get attention, right?
Yeah, just troll real hard. But the other thing too that comes out of this is Scarlet Witch is now officially the strongest.
Sorry.
You're good. Scarlet Witch is officially the strongest Avenger. Like, there's no question. She proved it. Now that she's learning how to control her powers, like she's gonna be out of control.
That's always how it's been for the game too. Like every time I've played the game, I've always been like, oh, I'm just gonna put a Scarlet Witch on my team because that makes sense. Yes. You know, she just kicks ass and we just leave it there. You know.
Well, and I didn't know this. My girlfriend, again, in for the clutch win. She might actually be a better host of the show than me. She she was like, yeah, that's the first time in the MCU that they ever officially called her the Scarlet Witch.
Yeah, I was pretty
When
excited.
yeah, when Agatha when Agatha calls her that, I was like, oh, whoa. When she explained that to me, that scene had way more power to it, which I thought was crazy.
The Halloween episode where they both wore the like dumbed down versions of their costumes, and I was like, yes,
Oh, that was
This
so
is-
dope.
How cool was that?
Oh man.
And
I
then
was
he,
like,
even him as Quicksilver.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
like the 80s Quicksilver with the David
Yeah.
Bowie lightning bolt.
No joke.
Even the kids, or Wicked was dressed like his comic book character too.
Yeah.
That's just Speed. Wasn't that his name? Speed. That's his like,
Yeah, Speed
they
and
kept
Wicked.
it pretty basic. I hope that they're all in the next generation. Like that final scene with her hearing them calling for her. Like, oh, I want like all of that to come back in Doctor Strange. Like, how dope would it be to like bring the Maximoff Vision family back together and like make that a thing? I want that. Like, I want it so bad.
That'd be insane to see.
Okay.
Uh,
So the real
Oh, go ahead, make it.
the real question here is two things. Out of the Avengers, who would you want to be? And the second question is, who do you think you'd actually be?
Who I'd actually be is Hawkeye, because everybody knows that I'm a bass player. I'm a Hawkeye. It's just what
I shouldn't laugh at that. Hawkeye's a pretty good character, but you know, he's like the one dude that you're like, do you have a power? Or did you just show up?
Patton Oswalt has a joke about that when he's talking about Jesus trying to join the X-Men. And he talks about how Jesus wouldn't talk about like his necromancy powers, the ability to bring people back to life. Like, oh, someone gets killed in the line of battle, we bring him back. Jesus brings him back to life. Boom, he's back in the game. No, he'd be like, I once was at the summit and I had but a loaf of bread and a single fish, and we had a nice lunch. It's like, remember that time we needed to make a sandwich to beat Magneto? Yeah, neither did I. All right, we will give you a call. Have you ever thought about going to the Avengers? They'll take anybody. They have a guy who's really good at shooting a bow and arrow. I'll have to think about that one, but I think I would be Hawkeye. That would be me, but I'd have to think about who I would want to be. What about you, Nick?
I think I'd want to be Thor. That's just a lot of power. Your bloodline's good. You ain't gonna have a wussy child. I'll tell you that, right? But who I probably am is the Hulk, because I just go into rage fits at times.
What about you, Mickey?
And the problem with that is I'm always angry.
That's a good question. Let's see. I would I feel like I would want to be, say, Captain America. I would love to be Captain America for the sake that like he's a super honest person. He's very straightforward, and like it's just like, if it's good, let's do it. Like no matter what it is, doesn't matter the cost. Realistically, I feel like I would end up being Falcon. He doesn't actually have any powers, but he does have, and he knows how to work it, and like, just always looked up to Cap and just been like, oh my God, I want to be that. And I'm going to try. I'm not quite there, but one day I'll get the shield,
Yeah. For me, probably I would want to be Spider-Man, just because I've always loved, like, out of any Marvel character that isn't an X-Men, and we can get into X-Men in a minute. Spider-Man has always been one that I've always attached to because he's kind of aloof. That's kind of what I've liked about the Tom Holland generation Spider-Man, the MCU Spider-Man, is he's not like super really good at everything. He still makes mistakes. He's still flawed. he's still a kid, but like he's not perfect. It's the same with Miles Morales as well in Into the Spider-Verse, and even in the PlayStation game, the Miles Morales game, he's still really flawed. And like even though he tries so hard to help, sometimes him helping creates a problem. Who I was jokingly saying Hawkeye. I would probably be, I don't know, I probably would end up being Quicksilver, just because I tend to think too fast and react too quickly to things, and eventually that's going to get me killed. So
Oh, sad.
no, I tend to react first and think later in certain situations, and it, that seems to be Quicksilver's mindset, is like he sees an opportunity to protect or to do something, and he chooses to do it rather than think about the action. And it's what essentially cost him his life. He was protecting people, but thought fast instead of thinking practical in that situation. So it's kind of an interesting take on it. I kind of want the X-Men to come into the MCU at some point. I know Fox is like holding tight to that. That property, but how do you think that would change the MCU? Would it be better? Would it make it worse? Would it create some problems? What do you think?
I thought that I thought Marvel or Disney got the rights to the X-Men and mutants and all. That's why they could say Scarlet Witch again.
Really?
Or just be some weird like meme rumor. I don't know. But I thought like mutants or the mutants was a new working project.
Oh man, as of 2019, I'm wrong.
Wow, look at that. All right.
Marvel just got back together with the X-Men, but it's complicated. Marvel making an X-Men movie is a lot more complicated than it sounds. This is from Vox.com from March 27th, 2019. Okay, so X-Men and Fantastic Four have new homes in the Marvel Cinematic Supervision. Likely sounds great considering how Marvel makes movies and how. So it looks like that. Yeah, I'm reading it and reading it out loud at the same time because I'm smart like that. But while the merger seems like it's a better home for X-Men and Fantastic Four, perhaps some better movies on the horizon, there's still some big problems. Time, continuity, and fitting these characters into the Marvel cinematic formula.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say, is that like with how the time frame works for some of these things, it's always complicated, especially with us doing all of this Marvel superhero stuff and then all of a sudden being like, by the way, mutants have existed this entire time in all of this and we just didn't talk about it. We've got too many movies and shows at this point for anyone to just be like, and mutants go.
Yeah.
Just kind of chuck them in there.
Yeah,
I really wanted that Gambit movie to be made really badly, and I'm mad. Gambit's my favorite. And like
with Channing Tatum,
that would have been dope.
Yeah, I love that dude.
Well, you don't think Channing Tatum could have played the greatest Louisiana lover of all time, the Cajun Major?
I love X-Men. X-Men I grew up with it. It'll always be a place in my heart, right? But like, there are some characters, and this happens all the time with anime. And I was actually having a conversation with my band about this the other day. There are some things that don't translate to real life, and I'm afraid that Gambit might be one of those characters. Where in real life, the time that what movie did they do that in? And it was John Carter, the guy who played John Carter.
Was it X-Men? Was it X2?
Origins,
or was it Origins Wolverine?
I think Origins, actually. Yeah. And he could be such a cool character. I love his power. I love the way he looks, the way he does everything. But in reality, you tend to look at that guy and just be like, oh, huh. You're not that awesome. You're just kind of silly at this point,
Man, you're breaking my heart, make it.
I want it to happen. If they could make it cool, it would be rad. But like, there are some things. It's like, hey, like I was saying, it's like how it works with anime all the time. It's like, look at the Dragon Ball Z movie. Sorry, guys. Like it's such a cool idea, but in reality, you're like, oh, okay, well, we'll just not do that again.
Yeah, it was terrible.
Yeah.
Kind of like The Last Airbender.
Oh, I was just gonna. Oh,
Yeah, I think you're right, though, man. I think as much as it kills me to say that, I think you might be right. I feel like Gambit's a hard character to translate away from a comic book,
Yeah.
or a cartoon. Just because, like, I feel like he's a character that doesn't really, like, that's what makes me love him, is like,
Yeah.
he's not 100% good and he's not 100% evil. He kind of like, in the comic books, he was a villain initially before he became an X-Men, if I remember correctly. He was never like, he was recruited by Logan, but he was working for like a mercenary group. If anybody in the comments below, correct my ass, because I want to make sure that I'm getting this right. But as far as I remember, he was like part of a mercenary group. Logan found him and was like, you would be an incredible asset to our team, bub, and like brought him in. And Xavier was like, sure, let's do this. Like, I think he would be valuable to us. And then he meets Rogue and they have their relationship, because he's one of the few people that can handle her taking his power, as part of like, he's like, I'm generally kinetic energy. Like, you can take what you need from me. I will never run out, kind of
Yeah.
thing.
His ability to make everything turn into a giant grenade.
Yeah, exactly.
Go ahead for that, huh? Go ahead for that.
But it's dog, you make grenades. That's what you do. We know.
Yeah. You turn an ace of spades into a bomb, bro. Chill.
All right, per se, if they did bring mutants into the MCU, what's one character that you would want to see, like, brought to life?
That's tough because I don't want them to mess it up.
Like Dark Phoenix.
Twice, right? Twice
they messed up Phoenix. Yeah. Honestly, and this is a selfish and 100% a joke, I want them to bring Cyclops in just to whoop his ass. I hate Cyclops. I've never liked Cyclops. I've always found him to be a kind of like a whiny bitch. Like,
he kind of is the Donatello, the X-Men.
Hey. Donatello's my favorite Ninja Turtle. That's mean.
Oh, bad.
Fair enough. He kind of is. You're right.
Actually, the two characters that I would love to see be made real, they did already, and it actually went over really, really fucking well. They did Colossus, and I liked him more in Deadpool than I liked him in the other X-Men, because he was Colossus, like this big dude that was just like, I barely understand what you're saying, and you turn into metal and you just punch things, and I was like, tight. That's it.
That's exactly what he should have been.
Yeah. That's all you need.
And the other character was Cable, and I thought, what's it called? Did a great Cable. Oh my god!
Was it Josh Brolin?
He did a fantastic fucking Cable.
He was amazing. He was so good.
Yeah.
Like when I think, I was gonna say, when I think of Josh Brolin as any character, I was like, huh, he's gonna be Cable. And then when he was Cable, I was like, oh shit, you're exactly what Cable is. Like, you're just this time traveling, straightforward fucking just an army.
Isn't he the son of Cyclops too?
Is he? I don't know on that one. We're going back to the computer. Let's do it.
Oh my god, he is. Nathan Christopher Charles Summers is the fictional Nathan. The child Nathan first appeared in the Unborn. Yeah, he is the son of Cyclops. Look at you pulling a nugget of knowledge.
Oh.
Nice, Nikki. Ace
out of draws.
So he is the biological son of Cyclops and his first wife, Madeline Pryor, who is Jean Grey's clone.
Damn.
So what?
Let's just take a second here. Cyclops was like,
Yeah.
yo, Gene, this isn't really working out. Like you kind of, turned in all these things and then I'm dying and then coming back and destroying everything. And he's like, but a clone of you, super down. Let's, you know what? I can
Dude,
just have
right?
do whatever, That's great. That's
It's like
hilarious.
I'm hooking up with your sister, but she's not your sister.
She's you.
Right. You, but not
Yeah.
She's you, but she's not you. You're starting to slip,
Yeah.
Gene. Like, yeah. Oh man.
it didn't work the first. Let's try again.
That's crazy.
Good for him.
They
Good
really
for
got the younger version of her.
You know what? Good job, Scott. You're proving why I don't like you. But yeah, no, Cable is a good one. I also find it awesome that Ryan Reynolds was also Juggernaut in Deadpool 2.
Was he? I didn't know that.
I just found this out like a couple weeks ago.
I didn't know that either.
Yeah, it was like weird cameos in movies you never thought about. And then it turns out that he played Juggernaut in his own movie. That's another thing. Who else could have played Deadpool, really?
Yeah, somebody
That
like
is perfect.
yeah.
Yeah. Like being a
Did
huge
anybody
fan
else find it weird that Juggernaut was put in his like crazy suit still with his uniform underneath? Like they didn't take his armor off or anything.
it.
They just
No, I didn't
like,
even
this
think
is
about it.
your-
That's crazy.
Well, I wonder, did he have like what was the point of keeping the helmet on while he was in what's it called? Or maybe it was one of those things where they just couldn't take it off of him. So they're like, we're just gonna put you in a cage. You can keep that shit. Whatever.
Maybe. I don't know. Juggernaut's another one of those characters that's seen, I think, more as a parody than an actual like decent villain, mainly because of that stretch of early YouTube. I'm the Juggernaut, bitch. Like,
Yeah.
got him more famous than his actual like role on the show. I don't know. I've always loved Juggernaut. I feel like he's one of those villains that like is just fun because he crosses all the different realms of Marvel and is just an asshole. Like he just is an asshole. It's really that easy.
All right, round 2 question.
Okay.
What power would you want to have? What power did you actually think you would have?
Ooh.
Oh man. I wouldn't hate having Magneto's abilities of manipulation of metal. I feel like that would actually come in handy every once in a while, like around the house, help you hang shelves, be a practical one. But what I'd probably end up having is Scott's brain damage that led to his laser eyes.
When you say it like that, it doesn't sound very cool.
Well, that's why he has to have the glasses. Apparently, he had like an accident that killed his parents. Like he got a traumatic brain injury and couldn't control his laser eyes. So that's why he has to have special glasses to keep him
Well,
in.
yeah, but like homeboy over here could like just level an entire city with his eyes, and you're just like, he just got his head hit kind of hard.
That's true. That's true. But yeah, I'll probably end up with his ability to level buildings after falling off a rock or something.
We could only be so fortunate, right? I fall lots of times have no powers.
Yeah. Isn't his brother
Havoc?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a cool power. I mean, essentially power, but still a cool power too.
Yeah. What about you?
Right.
What about you guys?
I don't know why. Like he was never one of my favorite characters, but I've always wanted to have powers like Iceman.
All
I don't
right.
know why. I always thought super cool.
Always have cold
You
drinks.
know, like if yeah, always have cold drinks. If
Always have.
you know, I could take a piece of metal and just fucking freeze it, throw it at you, just break your face with smashed pieces of a bat. Just cruise around on my little just ice slides everywhere I want to go to. And then I don't know if you guys remember
Let's go, guys.
Soap shoes, bro.
the show Heroes. But
Oh, yeah.
like when the blonde lady has like the ice powers, and they have this one scene where like, you know, the waters, they have like the sprinkler systems going off and she just turns everything into ice and just, I don't know. I always thought that was so fucking rad.
That's cool.
And
Okay.
I don't know. I've always agreed with that. But if I think what I actually have would probably be like pyro, where I can't actually make shit happen, but if it's around, there it is.
I like how everyone's like, what I would actually have just sounds disappointed. It's still cool.
It's still
We make
cool,
it
but
sound
it's just not what you
Like,
want.
I can't
That's
make
why.
it, but hey, if it's here,
Oh shit. Okay. For mine, I would love to have telekinesis. That would be rad, right? Just because, although like Magneto's power, yes, he can move metal, but telekinesis can move anything.
True.
So essentially, I
you
don't
can
know
make
why.
anybody think their house is haunted.
Wait, say it again. What?
So you can make anybody think their house is haunted.
I guess that's also very true.
So
Yeah,
you say you go
homeboy,
house shopping if the market's a little high. Hey, this house is haunted, man.
Right? Homeboy's got telekinesis. What's he doing with it? I don't know. He's not people's. Yes, like.
You didn't see my hand. You didn't see nothing. It was moving on its own. Telekinesis.
I feel like the power I would unfortunately have though would probably be rogues, where I don't have power. I just kind of suck the life out of other people's power. Yeah. It's a brutal power.
The best
It is
part
a brutal
like
power.
the disappointment face you'll make after like that's the one I would have.
Yeah.
Well, and it's funny because like it kind of got manipulated in the movies, if I remember correctly, because she would just suck people's power away. But if I'm not mistaken, didn't she absorb it and then had the ability to use it for a temporary period of time in the comics?
I think so. Because I'm pretty sure that's how she gets. Who is it? It's Power Girl or somebody. She kills somebody, and that's why she can fly and has super strength.
Yeah.
But I'm not exactly.
So she's kind of like Highlander. There can only be one.
Essentially.
Okay.
Oh man, because yeah, oh that would you know what, that would suck. But I still think having uncontrollable laser eyes would be kind of bad. Just have to wear glasses all the time.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think I take it on the worst power. Like hers is pretty bad. Like everyone I ever want to touch just dies essentially. Like you just gotta wear glasses, you know, and you're already wearing glasses.
Yeah.
Nobody lost there.
That's true. You know, I'm halfway there. They just got to be sunglasses or like special glasses made of aren't they like made of adamantium or something? Like
I think
something that's
aren't they?
I want to say something like rupees.
The one,
like you gotta wear it to sleep because you can't.
That's true. Yeah, you gotta wear your sunglasses to sleep, or just always keep your eyes closed and be like, I just can't peep in the middle of the night. I can't like wake up and just look at something, you know?
Cyclops glasses are made of a ruby quartz.
There you go. See, ruby quartz.
Mm-hmm. They refract his optic beams and keep them contained within their own vector field. There we go.
Okay, so I always
all day pretty much just glass in your own eyes.
It's just in constant pain the whole time. That's why he's so whiny. He's in constant pain.
I always question, does that mean that that Cyclops is colorblind? Because he always sees red, right?
I wonder. This is going to be another thing we Google.
Right?
Google
like
answers.
when he's driving and gets to the stoplight, he's like, do I stop? Do I stop?
Yeah. Why is it not? Cyclops is basically colorblind. When he doesn't have the protective headgear on, Cyclops has to keep his eyes closed. This logically means Cyclops can only see the world in a constant shade of red, which is actually worse than regular color blindness.
Never mind. That's he
Yeah.
has no. Yeah, he's just looking around and he's like, huh, that's red.
Then how
That's
the hell
not-
is he? Oh no, I guess Beast is the pilot of the X1, isn't he?
I mean, do you need to be able to see color to fly a plane?
I don't know.
Wait, no, wait. This is true. Actually, wait. You have to be you can't be colorblind if you want to fly. I'm pretty sure I heard that in real life.
Yeah, I think to be a pilot, you can't be colorblind, and you're required to have 20/20 vision, I think, as well, or better.
To be fair, they're not the Air Force, so he could just do whatever he wants, right?
That's true.
Yeah.
And he
That
is
is
the
true.
de facto leader. Would you say he's the de facto leader of the X-Men? Or is it Wolverine? Or is it neither?
We can go with. He's definitely the Leonardo of the group, even though I already Donatello.
I think he's the only one who like tries to make a strategic move. Everyone else is just like, let's do it. And he's like, guys, why don't we just try this? And they're like, okay, he had a plan. Let's fucking do that then. You know?
Yeah.
Who's
Okay.
like that?
I have a question. Who is the most underrated Marvel superhero, in your opinion? The silence is deafening.
I'm gonna go with Cyclops.
You know, you're probably not wrong. What do you think, Nick?
God, I'm still thinking. Underrated Marvel character.
Some answers may shock you.
I'm gonna go with like one of my favorites. Still X-Men is Nightcrawler.
Dude.
He's great.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, teleportation. If he really wanted to do some bad shit, that guy can do some bad things in the world.
Yeah. Wow. I posed a very hard question that I did not have a good answer to. Because both of those are solid.
Because especially like when you think of the whole beginning of X2,
Yeah, when he's jumping
President's
in.
gone.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, for me, and this is a long shot now that things have changed in that world, I'm gonna go with Scarlet Witch. Because I feel like a lot of people don't really understand, like those who have not really read the comics or don't understand much of the Marvel lore. For the general viewer, up until now, they were like, well, I mean, she's powerful, but like, is she really that powerful? I'm like, yeah, she's more powerful. Agatha says it in the storyline. You are more powerful than the Sorcerer Supreme, who's like one of the most powerful magic wielders in the entire Marvel universe. So you now have this, you know, unstoppable force who could potentially be the primary villain in Doctor Strange.
Yeah, I was gonna say that. I feel like that's gonna come up in Doctor Strange at some point.
So, well, because like the cool reference is like one of the things that, again, Hillary pointed out to me. So like Doctor Strange does the astral projection to continue learning, but he's asleep. Whereas Wanda is up and like sitting on the porch of this cabin while also in the astral form, studying the Darkhold and like learning everything and hearing, you know, then she hears the boys in the background and like knows she has to do something about it. But like, it's just insane to think how powerful she is. But yet everybody's like, well, you know, yeah, Scarlet Witch, I guess, is part of the Avengers. And least in my circles, like it didn't seem like there was a whole lot of people who were like, yeah, Scarlet Witch, she's fucking badass. A lot of people were like, it's an Olsen sister. Great. Next. Like
That
I would
second that end credit scene, the second one, with while she's studying and sitting on the cabin, had some very Infinity Wars vibes to it. Like, Thanos, once he was done, he was just chilling on his farm. Scarlet Witch, once she was done, she's just chilling in her little cabin. And then going back to how powerful she was, she almost single-handedly killed Thanos herself. Just pretty much like crushed him like Luke did.
Yeah.
Holy shit, you're
just
right.
throwing a little Star Wars in it.
I love that the quality of this show has not gone drastically far from what the movie is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like just watching it, you're just like, oh my God, like you guys really took the time out to make this look on same, at least really, really close to par with the movies, and like that's that's why it's really killing it right now,
Fact. That's why I'm excited to see what they do with Loki and like how they're going to tie that in and what they're going to do with that storyline and see what happens in that aspect of the universe. Like, where is that going to go? Because I don't actually know much about it. I've only seen the trailer, but I didn't really garner. Is it a prequel? Is it more about how he gets access to the Mind Stone? Is it what's happening during different portions of the story? Do you guys have an idea, or do you know?
Wait, isn't it?
I think it's played.
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure there's a time frame that it's like before. Fuck, I knew I had seen it the other day too. It's like in right before Ragnarok or something like that. It's supposed to be leading up to something. I know they kind of explain it in one of the things. I don't know if anybody knows any more than I do on that.
The series takes place after the events of Endgame, in which an alternate version of Loki created a new timeline.
Space Stone. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's what it is. Yeah.
He takes the Space Stone and just bolts out it, or teleports out, and I think that's where he goes from there. And I think in the credits, he's jailed by like this interdimensional police force because he's screwing up a whole timeline.
That's what it is. Yeah.
With Owen Wilson.
Oh yeah, I do remember that because he's like one of the police officer guys who comes and talks to Loki. It's just kind of like, hey, you're screwing things up.
He's Mobius M. Mobius, a member of the Time Variance Authority. So nice, Nick. Nice poll. Yeah, I think that's exactly what it's going to be. I'm looking forward to it and see what happens. They're also saying,
especially with like a
multiple season one as well. Sorry, that's going to be a multiple season show. Looks like.
Good.
Oh, it is.
Yeah, because I don't think WandaVision's not that. They called the final episode series finale for a reason, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So.
Which is good. They don't need to continue that. Let it go to the movies.
Where can you go from there? Like, it's kind of hard to go any further from what you did in those 9 episodes. In my opinion. Yeah.
Although, like, I hope I don't want like a lot of these shows to have like multiple seasons. Just want to like tell their little story and then fit into the bigger portion, which is going to be like the theatrical releases.
Yeah, sometimes it's like you have such a good show, and then, or how's that saying go? You either die the hero or live long enough to become.
Correct.
And that's kind of with TV shows where it's like you're so good, and you either end it, and it's like no matter what happens, nobody can outdo that, or you live long enough, people will be like, oh, they're good at the first place, and then it kind of just went downhill.
That is every DC show ever. We can talk about that next week.
That's my show Heroes right there.
Yeah, that was another one that like ran maybe 2 seasons too long.
Yeah.
There's a lot of shows that I feel like that happened to.
So funny thing about that is I got to be on Heroes before I had ever watched the show.
What?
No way.
Yeah, this was like, it had to be like when it first came out, and it was like I remember getting the paper and it was like, oh yeah, Heroes. And I was like, I don't know what that is, but it could be cool, I guess. And I didn't watch it for like years after the show was even done. And I was like, damn, man, I missed out. Like this could have been way cooler.
Yeah. Did you see like your part or your scene, or are you visible in it?
I remember where it was, but like I'm pretty sure they go by this like it's like a courtyardish area, like very downtowny courtyard area, and it's like one of the ones that they end up by like multiple times in a bunch of seasons. So I was like, I don't know where I am. Like I could be at any one of these episodes, you know. So
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, it was years later that I saw it, and I was like, oh man, like this was so much cooler than I thought it was, you know.
That's rad.
That's pretty legit, man. That's cool little tie-in. Wow, you guys are way cooler than I ever imagined. Now I'm like, oh, what am I doing talking to you guys once a week, every week until we decide this is dumb.
Yo, hear me out. Now that we're talking about it, because
That's
we were
just
talking,
way rad.
does that mean technically, because I've been on Heroes and I've been on Spider-Man, that Heroes is part of the MCU now?
Oh,
I'm just gonna say yes, just because that's everything I want in life.
yeah, there you go.
I'm gonna start tying things together on my own, right?
Yeah, let's open Mickett's IMDb page and then find all the connections to the MCU through that.
Right? And it'd be like Shenanigans from Waiting 2 is actually part of the MCU now.
Oh shit. The difference between ordinary and extraordinary is that little bit extra.
Yo,
that's from the first one, but yeah.
Yo, real talk, that means Ryan Reynolds in Waiting, that's what he did before he was Deadpool.
Oh man, that's how he actually met Vanessa. Oh shit. They actually met before at Shenanigans, and then he met her again later as a merc.
That's why they were so comfortable.
Yeah, they already knew each other from him making sure Dane Cook didn't put any ball hair in her steak.
Oh. Oh.
As gross as that scene is, it's still so uplifting, because just being a waiter at one point in my life, I could just look back and like, you fucking deserved that, you little witch.
Oh man.
And not like a scarlet witch either, like a mean witch. Oh, and speaking of, I did the little Wizard of Oz they did with the car and the thing, and they just had their boots out. Like once I saw it, I was like, is that like a little Wizard of Oz little Easter egg right there?
There's actually, when the scenes are flipping at the Coronet Theater, when like it's going through all the different time frames, when it hits the early 2000 or the mid 2000s frames, it's got Oz the Great and Powerful as a mark, because Sam Raimi was the director of Oz the Great and Powerful, and so there's a Wizard of Oz reference there because Sam Raimi's part of the direction.
That's right. I did see that.
That's really cool.
There's a lot of really dope Easter eggs in that show that are tie-in everything, which I thought was fucking cool.
I know that because it seems like MCU fans are all about the Easter eggs. So,
and I think that's what makes it unique. I think that's what makes it unique from DC. Like, I know that, and like I said, I want to talk about DC next podcast because I think that's where we should go from here. But I think that MCU fans are so knowledgeable about the different aspects of it. That's what makes that gives you rewatch value, because there's little subtleties and things you miss as you go through, and then you hear about them later and you're like, oh man, I got to go back and watch that and find the connection to this. Like, I completely forgot that Wanda gets the vision of seeing herself as the Scarlet Witch because of the Mind Stone. And then she references back that that's the connection that she and Vision have, is that she's connected to the Mind Stone. And that's why they're in love. It's like, because of the Mind Stone, she would have never been who she was. And because he is the created entity of the piece that helped her find her true identity, That's why they're together. That's why that scene at the end when he's about to disappear and she's like, "You're the piece of the mind stone that's within me." And I was like,
That poor lady has been through so much shit in the past 2 weeks, pretty much. For her life.
Shout out to my girlfriend's coworker Zane, who said this in a text the moment after we finished it. That woman has dealt with so much: dead parents, dead brother, dead boyfriend, dead lost children, dead reincarnated boyfriend.
Yeah. Even the first time you can go dead boyfriend again.
Yeah, like she killed him. Thanos brought him back, killed him in front of her. She's like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah.
And everyone's like, "Why is she sad?" Like, there's a lot of reasons.
Yeah.
I did question. So when they do the like vision off, when they're just like talking, they're like, "Oh, the boat's no longer the boat, or everything is the boat." Where does Vision go? He just flies off, and that's it. Like,
so theory me thinks that he is off to find a way to recover more information, because Vision trapped inside the hex. Vision essentially downloads all of the information from inside of his memory of himself to the physical Vision, which makes me think that the all white, the physical Vision, is going to make a return in Doctor Strange to help Scarlet Witch in some capacity. I feel like that's a sign that he's going to be a fully functional, returned to normalcy, because like there's little aspects. So when Vision touches the stone on his head, like the spot where the Mind Stone used to be, when he removes his finger away, it is yellow for a short period of time, and then his eyes change back to what Vision's eyes are, and then he's like, "I am Vision," and then boom, he's gone, which makes me think he's going to make a return at some point in the
Did you
MCU.
not know that his wife was fighting?
I don't think he had given, like, I think there's aspects of it that he's still learning. Maybe, I don't know. There's a lot of questions. That's a good one, Mickey.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'd have to dig a little deeper, because White Vision does make an appearance in the comic books as sort of like a machine sent to kill. Like he's not the Vision that we know. He was designed to destroy Vision and Wanda. So
Vision does have like the coolest eyes, though. Well, at least White Vision does when they were all
white with the blue.
so cool. I love those little details. Just watching that, like when it was all close up on his eyes, I thought that was so sick.
My mission is to kill the Vision.
I did. You guys seen that meme that's going on Instagram? It's like about the original Justice League, and Snyder's like, "I have a vision for the show." Warner Brothers, my mission is to kill the Vision.
Oh man, now you're making me sad.
How much longer till Snyder Cut comes out, by the way?
Next week on the 18th. So it's next Thursday. So we recorded this on Tuesday the 9th. It comes out on Thursday the 18th, and I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to watch it with my life the way it is. So with everything that goes on, it's usually my band practice night, so like I got to make sure that we actually do that, because we have studio time coming up at the end of the month, and we haven't finished anything yet. So we kind of have to have something ready for that window. Oh man.
That sounds like Rian Johnson the night before Last Jedi script was turned in.
Oh no.
Tell him, let's just.
Oh shit, that's a good spot to end. End on a Rain Johnson diss. Well, Jets, it's also 11:30, and I have to be up at like 6.
Oh.
No
to
worries.